Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
What's going on, good people? You're listening to the Afternoon Praise, and it is Triumph Tuesday. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown, and you are tuned in to Wave Radio. Let me tell you something, people. You deserve better than the false wins. I'm going to say that again. You deserve better than false wins. Let me talk to you for real today, y'all. This is not one of those shows where I'm about to hype you up, tell you everything is working, and send you on your way feeling good for the next hour. No. Today is about awareness. Because a lot of people are not losing because they're lazy. They're losing because they've been calling the wrong things wins. You've been celebrating things that look like progress, but your life hasn't actually moved. And I need you to hear this. I need you to hear this with love. You deserve better than false wins. You deserve real growth, real change, real results. So today we're going to separate what feels like progress from what actually produces progress. Let's get into it. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. Tell somebody, tell a friend, tell a family member to tune in because we are about to go all in on this Triumph Tuesday.
Join us on this heavenly journey, one song at a time, Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown, and today is Triumph Tuesday. You know, I see a lot of people just in motion, and they think they're producing, but they're not producing. I want to see people win. I want to see you all win. I want to see you all triumph. But there's a misunderstanding of triumph. Triumph is not a feeling. And that right there is where most people go wrong. Because we've been trained through social media, through culture, through even our own habits to believe that if something feels good, it must be right. It must be working. It must be progress. But triumph doesn't come from emotions. Triumphs come from resistance, pressure, and completion. It's what happens when you didn't quit when you got uncomfortable. You stayed consistent when nobody was clapping. You followed through when it stopped being exciting. So if nothing changed in your life, if your habits didn't shift, if your results didn't improve, then we have to be honest. That wasn't triumph. That was just a moment that felt good. And you deserve more than that moment. You deserve to win. You deserve that moment. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
You're riding the waves of faith and grace on Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown, and this is Triumph Tuesday. And we are talking about the real meaning of being triumph. What triumph really means. But let's look at this. The dangerous comfort zone. The dangerous comfort zone. Let me talk to you about comfort. Because comfort is deceptive. Comfort doesn't come in and announce itself as a problem. Comfort whispers. It tells you you're doing all right. At least you're trying. You're better than you used to be. And while some of that may be true, comfort will keep you celebrating small improvements while ignoring major stagnations. I'm going to say that again. Comfort will keep you celebrating small improvements while ignoring major stagnations. And here's the danger. You can feel stable while your life is not progressing. You can feel good about your routine while your results are staying the same. And if you stay there too long, comfort becomes your cage. Not because you can't grow, but because you stopped demanding more from yourself. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise, and it is Triumph Tuesday. How you feeling out there today? I hope that you are feeling good. I hope that your Monday started strong, and I hope that you woke up this morning and be like, yes, it's going to be an awesome day. I am going to complete what I've started. But let's talk about the illusion of progress. We live in a time where information is everywhere. You can watch it, read it, listen to it, study it. And because of that, it's easy to feel like you're growing. But there's a difference between exposure to information and application of information. Just because you watched the video doesn't mean you implemented the strategy. Just because you read the book doesn't mean your habits change. And that illusion is dangerous because it gives you the satisfaction of growth without the evidence of growth. So now you feel like you're progressing, but your life is still in the same place. That is the illusion of progress. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. If you got a shout out or request, hit me up and I got you. But let's talk about knowledge versus execution. Let's take it deeper. We've created a culture that values knowledge, but neglects execution. People know how to build a business, how to get in shape, how to manage money, but knowing and doing are two completely different worlds. Access does not equal mastery. You can have all the information in the world, but if it's not showing up in your daily behavior, it's just stored knowledge. And stored knowledge does not change your life. Execution does. So the question is not, what do you know? The real question is, what are you consistently doing? You're listening to the Afternoon Praise.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Let's talk about the dopamine trap. Let's talk about what's really happening internally. Your brain is wired to reward. Your brain is wired for reward. And it doesn't always care how you get that reward. You can get it from posting something, getting a like, talking about your plans, checking something off, a small to-do list. And every time that happens, your brain releases dopamine. And that dopamine makes you feel like I did something. But did you actually move forward? Or did you just trigger a feeling? You can satisfy your brain without advancing life. And that's the trap. Because now your brain is full, but your purpose is still waiting. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. How many of y'all do a lot of talking? I used to do a lot of talking. I wanted to share everything. I get a good idea. I used to do that. But let's talk about talking instead of doing. This one right here. This is where a lot of people lose without realizing it. You talk about what you're going to do. You share the vision. You tell people the plan. They encourage you. They clap for you. And in that moment, you feel accomplished. But nothing has been built. Nothing has been executed. Nothing has changed. You celebrated the idea instead of completing the assignment. And every time you do that, you reduce the urgency to actually follow through. So let me challenge you. Stop talking about it so early. Protect the work. Build in silence if you have to. But make sure your life shows it before your mouth announces it. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Bringing the sounds of heaven 24/7, Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. What is your Tuesday feeling like? Where you are? Where are you? Where you living at? I'm in Durham, North Carolina. It's a little cool, a little chilly, but it's cool. The weather feel all right. But let us know what the weather is feeling like where you are. Is it sunny? Is it cold? Let us know. But let's talk about busy versus productive. Let's deal with this word busy. Busy. Because a lot of people wear it like a badge of honor. I've been busy. I've been working. I've been doing a lot. And I'm not dismissing that, but I have to ask you something real. What was actually changed because of all that movement? Because busy can mean you touched a lot of things, you started a lot of tasks, you stayed active. But productive means something moved forward, something improved, something got completed. And if nothing changed, then you have been busy, not productive. Then we have to reevaluate what you've been calling work. Now, you got to make up your mind if you want to be busy, if you want to be productive. I want to be productive. I used to be busy and broke at the same time. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. I hear you. I'm trying. I hear you. And I'm glad that you are trying. I'm glad. But effort isn't enough. Effort matters. Don't get me wrong. Let's establish that. You cannot win without effort, but effort alone is not enough. Because effort without directions, effort without feedback, effort without adjustments leads to frustration. You can work hard and still be wrong. Yes, I've been there. And that's hard to accept. Because we want effort to guarantee us results, but it doesn't. Effort must be aligned with the right strategy, the right execution, the right adjustments. Otherwise, you'll keep giving your energy without seeing the growth. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. Let's talk about this, the wrong yard problem. And I'm going to explain it to you, okay? I know you're probably saying, what yard? I ain't in nobody's yard. I'm in the right yard. But I'm going to explain it to you. So let me paint this picture for you. You wake up early. You put in hours. You stay committed. You're digging. But what if you're digging in the wrong place? Now, all that effort, all that time, and all that discipline is building something that doesn't serve your purpose. Hard work in the wrong direction would not produce the right results. So now the question becomes, are you just working hard or are you working right? Because triumph requires both. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. We talked about this last week, I believe. Systems over feelings. We got to have systems in place. You don't need more motivation. Let me say that clearly. You don't need another speech, another video, another quote. You need a system, because motivation will leave you, but a system will keep you moving when you don't feel like it. Feelings are inconsistent. Systems create consistency. So if your progress is based on how you feel, you will always be inconsistent. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. Oh, I almost forgot my name, huh? Man, let's talk about discipline. Let's redefine discipline. Because people think discipline is being perfect, always being on point, never missing. They think discipline is just this perfect thing. That's not discipline. Discipline is structure. It's creating a life where the right actions are easier to repeat, the wrong actions are harder to fall into. Discipline is not about willpower, it's about design. And when your life is designed correctly, you don't have to rely on how you feel. Are we gonna have some bad days? Yes. Are we gonna have days that we don't feel like it? Yes. But when you have discipline, you get up and go when you don't feel like it. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Who you hang around and where you hang at, it matters. Your environment matters. You are not operating in a vacuum. Your environment matters. The people around you, the structure you live in, the systems you've built or haven't built, all of this plays a role. If your environment supports inconsistency, you will struggle to be consistent. So sometimes the issue isn't you, it's what you surrounded yourself with. And until you change that, you will keep fighting uphill battles that could have been avoided. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. And I want to reiterate something. And I talked about this on the past show. I think yesterday I talked about this. The identity problem. Let's talk about the identity problem. This is where it gets real. Some of you are not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because doing it would require you to become someone different, more disciplined, more focused, more accountable. And that challenges your current identity. Growth will always confront who you currently are. And if you're not willing to let go of that version, you will protect it. Even if it's holding you back. Let go of the old you. Allow the new you to sprout out. Allow the new you to raise up. Again, let's not have that identity problem. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. A lot of people do avoid real work. I'm going to tell you, when I was younger, I avoided real work. I thought I was going to miss something. I wanted to try to make it quick, make quick money. I wanted to be everywhere. I didn't want to miss nothing. But again, let's be honest. You know what you're supposed to be doing, but it's hard. It's uncomfortable. It requires focus, patience, and consistency. So instead, you replace it with easier tasks, or you just don't do nothing. You replace it with easier tasks, things that feel productive, look productive, but don't actually move the needle. You're not confused. You're avoiding discomfort. And until you face that, nothing will change. Nothing. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. Let's talk about the truth about triumph. Let's bring it all together. Triumph is not a feeling, a moment, a post. Triumph is when your life reflects the results of your discipline. It's measurable, it's visible, it's undeniable, and it comes from consistency, alignment, and execution. You hear me? That's the truth about triumph. It's not a feeling. It's not a moment. It's not about a post. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. My time is up. It's been good. It's been lovely. And again, I appreciate you listening to the show. But let me close out with this. Let me leave you with this. You don't need another moment that feels good. You need a life that is moving forward. So from this point on, here, stop asking, did I feel productive today? Start asking, did I produce something that moves my life forward? Because you deserve better than false wins. And real triumph will always show up in your results. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm out of here and I love you. Peace.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wave Radio.